right. Welcome everybody to our live stream. We missed you all last week. Unfortunately, our team member Chris is not feeling well this week. So, he is feeling well enough to join us, but he has his lovely cute little mask there and his stock of tissues and he's all set. So, you're not going to be hearing a whole lot from him today, but he is here because his input is invaluable. So thank you for still being here, Chris. And we have Brianne joining us today from our tech support team because we have tech stuff we're talking about today. And we always love it when you're here. Welcome, Brianne.
Thank you.
So we are going to go ahead and get started. Oh, first of all, Chris, Spencer would like you to get better and not spread your germs in the office.
Thank you very much.
And Brianna says to feel better as well. And so, something we are going to talk about today, the 3 reasons to stay until the end. These are super important. So, the first is we're going to talk about how to get access to our virtual conference that just happened. Yes, you can still get access to all of the recordings, which is very exciting. A lot of value here. So please, please, please take advantage of this. It's something you can do at any point. So we're going to talk about that, where to get access to that. We are going to talk about 2 reports from mytenureplan.com that are very helpful in helping students decide what pathways they need to go to and how to help your staff assist students in selecting their pathways. So that's why Brianne is here. And at the very, very end, we're going to show you an example of how those reports can look really fancy because I really love working with Excel and any sort of spreadsheet, and I'm not the only one in our office. So those are the reasons to stay today. Please introduce yourself in the chat. Make sure that we know who you are. Say hi, and we will be monitoring the chat from everywhere as we go. Thank you if you're joining us from Facebook or Twitter or YouTube. And we also would like to remind you we now have an Instagram. We are not currently going live on Instagram, but you can see short clips of videos, which are absolutely fabulous, and I'm obsessed with them. So make sure that even if you're watching after the fact on any of those platforms, please comment, say hi. We're on there. We want to talk to you. So, hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? Chris, don't talk. How are you doing, Brianne?
I am great. I am excited to talk about pathways today.
Awesome. So, we're going to start with the news minute. And we're going to go ahead and share. I apologize for not looking directly at the camera today. But we're going to go ahead and share our newsletter. So our newsletter covers a lot of really good topics today. We have a live workshop coming up. Yes, in person.
About time.
Right? So we're very, very excited about this. So there's a live workshop. It is in gorgeous Santa Barbara, in case you are interested. There are actually several coming up. This is where they're going to be at, which again, absolutely gorgeous. If you don't mind blue skies and, Toy Story clouds. And then, so here's the dates for that. Go, if you're not signed up for the newsletter, the link will be in the chat afterwards. And if you would like to see this online version of the newsletter, then go ahead and we'll have that link there too, so you can just check out the newsletter from the link. The other thing we're going to focus on today from the newsletter is this session specifically from the Get Focused, Stay Focused conference. And it was presented by Dr. Karen Miles. And I'm not going to read the title because everybody can read. At least we hope. But this was an absolutely fabulous session. Brianne, Chris, is there any comments? Chris, keep them short.
Yeah, so this is this is probably the only part I'll talk on today, but yeah, I was able to listen to this session. And so Dr. Miles, before she was the executive director of the Get Focused, Stay Focused nonprofit, she worked with high schools to help figure out why their students weren't transitioning to college the rates were not very, very good. And so she did a lot of studying and research and came up with a lot of answers to help that. And the main thing she found was that if high school students are involved in a career-focused curriculum in high school, and they're using that as a dual enrollment class with the local college, then the transition rates from high school to college just skyrocketed. And so it's about a 45-minute session, and she goes into much detail on how you can do this. So if you do not have a career-focused course, hopefully you do with the Career Choices curriculum, but if you don't, for whatever reason, she talks about how vital it is to do that with your high school students, especially in ninth grade, but start talking about it even in 6th, 7th, 8th grade. Get them in that course in ninth grade. Hopefully it can be a dual enrollment course, and you'll see those transition rates just skyrocket, like I said.
That was a really good session, Chris. I sat in on that session too and got quite a bit of information from Dr. Miles. It was really great.
Yeah, and it's free to go listen to it. So if you have not clicked on that link where it says listen to this important session or view all recorded sessions, it doesn't matter if you were registered or not. You can click on that and get access to that link.
So please, please, please do that. And we're going to focus our main section of the conversation today on this topic. We're going to change things up on you a little bit because there are several different activities that feed into this concept, but it doesn't all fall under like one activity. It actually crosses two different chapters specifically. I would like to bring up a comment. Spencer says, I didn't talk about post-secondary options in high school at all. Like, how was that a thing? So if I was able to learn about it and get college credit from dual enrollment, it would have been really helpful. It was a huge push when I was high school age to get your associate's degree at the same time as your diploma in where I grew up. And so there were a lot of students who had that, but there wasn't a whole lot of focus on anything except getting an associate's. Like, there was no guidance after that. It was just, if you get both, then I think it was something like, we'll pay for your bachelor's degree or something, but you didn't know what it was supposed to be.
The goal was to get you into school, not necessarily have you figured anything out.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. So Spencer, yeah. So they did talk about applying for colleges, but that's it. So what good does that do you? Like, there's no point. I mean, I guess there is a point to that. Once you get in, hopefully you get to see a guidance counselor, but I didn't see a guidance counselor until, I was in, I think, my 7th year of college. Don't come at me. I was completing my dual bachelor's degree. I was doing 2 bachelor's degrees at the same time, and my FAFSA decided that 7 years of college was too much, so they were going to cut me off. And I was like, no, please don't do that. I have 1 semester left. So I had to go see a counselor to be able to justify getting a little bit more assistance funding. That's the only time I ever really saw a guidance counselor. So it's really important to have these conversations with students before they get into college. And as Karen Miles says, it makes a huge difference with students actually going. You can apply all you want, but if you don't go, it doesn't really do much good. So we are going to move on to the main section of our conversation today. And we are, again, going to be discussing specific activities that then flow into something that Brianne's going to talk about. And then I'm going to top it off and show you with a really fun project that we did. So, starting off, we're going to talk about career clusters. So that's something that you cover in chapter 6. It's one of the first activities in chapter 6. And I'm going to show you the online class agenda specifically discussing this topic. So this is the outline. If you want to see the details and you don't know how to access the online agendas, please email us. We would love to get you connected with these because they are so valuable. And as always, my favorite section in this is the mini video lecture. So specifically the one talking about career clusters. So you've got a 4-minute video done by our mentor teacher, Carol, and she's absolutely amazing, breaks things down so easy and has so much energy. And so it's really good, even if you don't have the time to show it in class, watch it ahead of time. It helps you understand this concept even better because she just explains things so clearly. So I'm going to zip through this a lot faster than I normally would in these live streams because, again, we're talking about more than one today. So the other subject that we cover in the instructor's guide is the activity where you start talking about ONET. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more in detail about this in a minute, but if you're not familiar with ONET, please go check it out. I will make sure to put the link of that in the comments below as soon as we're done with this as well. But ONET is a government-funded website that has done massive amounts of career research on every kind of career you could possibly imagine. And it has so much information on what the students need to be able to make a logical career choice. So not just things like median pay, but it also talks about what types of education that people who work in the field have. It talks about what types of environments that people say they encounter, what types of physical activity, where the work environment is. It's really, really robust. It's huge. So again, I'll get back to more of that in a minute, but that is one of the suggestions for this activity in the instructor's guide. If you don't have one of these, let us know because you need one. They're amazing.
And Brooke, I do believe that there is a link within my tenure plan that will take them directly to ONET when they are working through the process.
Yes, so that is the career interest surveys. Excellent segue. So in discussing the career interest surveys, we're going to go to our next class agenda. And if you look, we have videos in here that talk about the 3 best online career exploration tools. This is an amazing video. If you watch nothing else, and I feel like I say this every week. Chris, not if I say this every week. But if you watch nothing else, you have to watch this video. It is amazing because it talks about the 3 different online career research exploration tools. ONET is the main one, but there are other ones that can be helpful as well. So definitely look at that. But we also have for you, and again, strongly encourage you to watch this before you teach this section, a mini video lecture walkthrough of how to do the career interest survey. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with this activity, this is not an online assessment to help students assess what careers they may be interested in. That's not what this is. This is an in-depth research report that the students have to do on 3 different careers they are interested in. So the reason why it's called the Career Interest Survey is because it is a survey on the student's career of interest. And Brianne, as you mentioned, we do have an integration in mytenureplan.com with this. And it is super helpful because it requires the students to drill down to a very specific career. We're not talking about a nurse, okay? While that is great, if you go to ONET and you select nurse as a category, that's going to give you a drop down about this big of all of the different types of nurses that it would like to know which one you would like to select, because they're all different. And so it's a really great tool to help the students see what is out there and what's available. So the other video that I really, really like in this is the starting with the right tools to determine your career. It's so important for students to understand the options ahead of time, because the more options they know about, the more they have to select from when they're younger. And while we can make career changes and constantly make career changes as we get older, giving the students these tools is so important now.
It's a lot about the decision, like the decision-making process, about teaching them a process as much as it is about teaching, helping them find themselves.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, that is a fabulous segue. Thank you very much. Because that's the other activity that I wanted to discuss today that flows into these reports. And that is the decision-making rubric. So there's a whole chapter on decision-making, which is fabulous, and we've discussed it a lot on here already because it's one of my favorite chapters because I'm a very indecisive person. But the decision-making rubric specifically flows into the reports that Brianne's going to be talking about. So we have a mini video lecture series on how to use the rubric. Again, you can have your students watch this, that's great, or you can watch it ahead of time in class so you're completely prepared to help your students navigate mytenureplan.com. And it's only 3 minutes long. It's by the fabulous Rochelle. And again, she just explains things so clearly. I really, really love it. And the reason why we cover the career interest survey first is because, and a lot of teachers have questions on this, when the students go into the decision-making rubric, the only options they are given for careers are careers that they have completed a career interest survey for. A lot of people are not a fan of this, but there's a really big reason for it. And that is because you cannot evaluate the probability of success on a career that you haven't researched. If you don't know what kind of degree you need for that career, even if it's instead of a NICU nurse, you now want to be a nurse with a geriatric specialty, those are two massively different career tracks. And so it's really important to be able to have that information. I would like to pop this up really quickly. Tanya says it's so important to expose students to the array of career opportunities out there. That's very important. Again, because if we don't know what's an option, how can we work towards that? And so that's why I love ONET so much, because it really breaks these down and makes these simple. And then it flows into this decision-making model where the students have spent time, and it's a 2-page research survey, investigating all the different aspects and how that fits in with who they are and what they want. Then they go to this rubric and say, okay, now I know who I am and what I want, and now I know these 3 different careers and how they fit in with that. Which one is the one that I want the most and the one that I'm most likely to be successful with? So that's when they select their career to complete the rest of the program with. Let me be clear, as we always are, this is not the career that the students are choosing for life. Number 1, most adults change their career entirely at least once every 7 years, and I'm sure that research is massively outdated at this point. And number 2, it's very improbable that somebody in 9th grade knows what they want to do for the rest of their lives. It happens, but it's more like Brianne said about the process. So, there is one other thing I would like to pull out of, and then we'll get to your part, Brianne. The instructor's guide for the decision-making rubric has a really cool suggestion that I'd forgotten about. And it talks about having the students get into small groups, either breakout rooms on Zoom, or if you're in person, then having them go into small groups and look at each other's decision-making rubrics and looking at all of the different reasons why they said a course may or may not be for them, and helping them give each other feedback on this process. It's super important. So I really like that option because it not only does it help students look at this process maybe a little deeper than they would if they were just sitting at their computer by themselves, but it also allows them to go through the process more than once. So
That's really awesome.
Brianne, once the students complete these career interest surveys and select these things, what happens in the back end of mytenureplan.com?
So we have created a couple of different reports that can be run once the students have completed either the career clusters through the career interest survey, or they have chosen a career through the decision-making rubric. So the two different reports we have, the first one goes off of chapter 6, where they do that career interest survey, and it will pull all of the career clusters that your students have chosen. So you can go in, you can run that report, and you can see, okay, I've got, 35% of my students are into this and 25 are into this. And it kind of gives you information so that you can see kind of how to support them. You can use that if you're bringing in guest speakers. You can use that. Your guidance counselors can use that information. If you're working with, if you have a college partner, you can share that information with them so that they kind of have an idea, the clusters that everybody's into and kind of what's incoming. Once they have completed that first survey and they've gone in and done the decision-making rubric, that information will then pull over into a student careers report. So then you can get kind of a more narrowed down view of the careers your students are interested in. So again, if you're bringing in guest speakers, if you have business partners or community partners, you can look at, job fairs or students doing job shadowing, that type of thing. All of that information can be pulled from those reports. And I think Brooke has a way to make it look like a beautiful chart that she will show us in a few minutes. But that's why those are two of the my favorite reports, I would say, because it really gives you information on what the kids are looking into. Some of them, if you, this is a section that gets kind of skipped a lot, but there is a section in there when you're doing the career interest survey that lets you put, all of the schooling that is required for each one of those careers or the career clusters. And so you can really, that information is also pulled over and you can see, what they're looking at as far as how much schooling they're going to have and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to do that, feel free to call our office and I can show you where to find it.
Brianne is amazing. And she is absolutely fabulous at walking me through that stuff. And I agree. These are two of my favorite reports too, because it allows you to get a really good snapshot of what your kids are looking at. And even maybe what they're missing looking at.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
oh, yes. And Spencer says that the reports can be exported really easily too. Is that true?
Yes. Yes, it is absolutely true. I will say that currently the reports run class by class. So if you do have quite a few classes, you may want to schedule some time out for that, or you can again contact our office and we can talk you through kind of a way to speed that up.
Excellent. Yes. So the basic theme I'm hearing here is call us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We almost always have a tech support person here. Or curriculum support.
That's one of the major reasons why we wanted to start this live stream, is because we wanted to show you that even when Chris is in a mask, he's not scary. You know, we're not scary. We want to talk to you. We want to interact with you. So call our office, communicate with us online. I just sent an email yesterday that includes the curriculum support social media links. So please connect with us. We want to talk to you. If that's easier for you, social media is a great way to go for us. But yes, before we hit time, I will confess these are not my documents, because I would hate to take credit for something that is not mine. They were actually developed by our Vice President of Curriculum Support, Tanya, and she's amazing. But I got really, really excited when I saw these, because I'm a giant geek when it comes to Excel. So without further ado, I'm going to show you these reports. And this is something, again, call us if you want help with this. But once you pull the career clusters, if you take the information and you put them into Google Docs, and you are able to make a pie chart, it looks like this. And it is so beautiful, and it makes me really happy. But it as you can see, it breaks down all the different career clusters and puts that into a beautiful looking pie chart. And I just, when she showed me yesterday, it made me all kinds of happy. But speaking of Tanya, the reason why I was laughing in the middle of that sentence is because she made a comment, which I have to share with everybody. And she would like to know, Chris says, yes, he is wearing a mask because he is hoping this live stream will go viral. Yes. So thank you, Tanya. Thank you for those gorgeous Google Sheets pie charts, and as well for that comment. So
everybody loves pie, even
yes.
when it's in a chart.
Yes. And if you didn't see our post on Instagram, I'm going to come back to our Instagram, because I did not get to share this comment from Spencer earlier, or from our account. I apologize. If you haven't seen the post on our Instagram, Pi Day is a really big day for our company. It was one of the biggest, aside from missing seeing you guys all in person, it was one of the saddest things when I went to working remote, is that I no longer got to participate in Pi Day at the office. So if you haven't seen that post on Instagram, go to Instagram and like it and follow us. And Chris and I are both on Instagram as well. Brianne, have you gotten an Instagram yet?
I do not have a business Instagram yet.
Okay. Yes, she is way too busy helping people with all of their needs to be able to, do that. But if you contact Chris or I and you need tech support help, we can put you in touch with Brianne via Instagram, if that is better for you than email. So, as is my usual MO, and I told you guys this would happen, we are at 30 minutes. So I would like to open it up for any Q&A. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to comment in the chat, or feel free to email us. Again, I don't know if you guys noticed a theme today, but it's call us. We love hearing from you guys. We love talking to you guys. That's why I do what I do. I love helping educators and talking to educators. The rest of the stuff that I do for my job is just to support that. And from the nods I'm seeing from you guys, I feel like
I definitely feel the same way, Brooke. Yep. I get excited when an educator calls and needs help, because I can help them and not look at spreadsheets.
Yes, exactly. You save us from the background work that we do to keep up with everything by helping us help you. So, we did get a question from Deb. Are we going to give the newsletter link? We are. I am not only going to post the link for the newsletter for this week as soon as we're done here, but I'm also going to post a link if you have not signed up for the newsletter to be able to do that. So thank you. Fabulous question, Deb. I appreciate it. So, I think on that note, we don't have anything coming up right away aside from please take a look at that live session coming up. We're doing an in-person session in Santa Barbara. Check that out in the newsletter. We don't have anything coming up until next month as far as curriculum and technical support activities go. Aside from, come back here next week. So, thank you all for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. And we will hopefully see you all back here next week.
Thanks for inviting me, Brooke.
Thank you for being here. We need to have you more often. Hopefully next week, Chris's voice will be back intact.
It will be. It will be.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.